Alright guys, welcome to day 17. If you can see, I got the pure turquoise on everything. Finally got most of the brush marks out of the top of his hat. You may still be able to see some of them. And now it's time for the edge highlighting for this stuff, which will be, I'm going to be very brave. Go see what it looks like a little bit with ice blue. Very bright color. And what I'm wanting to do is pull out the rivets on his chest and go along the edges of the armor, which I've got to be real careful with that so I don't get deep into the crevices, etc., etc. So let's see if this old brush, kind of like this old house, is up to that task. Alright, yeah, this is a 2-0 brush from Princeton Arts, round Princeton Art Brush Summit 6100R. Had to clip the end off of it because I bought the really long-handled Fancy Pants oil painting brushes by mistake. I bought them off Amazon because nobody had them nearby. But as should be done with this extreme edge highlighting, I'm going to try it out on a little small area first so that if it doesn't work really well, I can go back and fix it. So wow, yeah, look at that. Look at how bright that is compared to the actual turquoise. Ooh, that is bright. Well, we'll see. That it is called an extreme highlight for a reason. Let's do a little bit thinner. Today is day 17. The big thing for today is, the question for today is, if you could make a miniatures game either from, off of nothing or out of an IP that exists, what would it be? And honestly, that's a really good question. It doesn't need to be quite that thin, Daniel. As I say to all, as my answer is to all of these. Oh, that's a really good question. Let me talk for 20 minutes before I give you my answer. But, it might help if I thought of these things before I start the video, but then I'd have a lot less to talk about. These videos would be much shorter. Alrighty. So let's see. Which, for those of you who watch these, I guess you don't want them short. Ooh, that's a little much. Yeah, we're going to have to add some turquoise to that to tone it down a little bit. Let's wash that off with some water. Take it off. There we go. But what miniatures game would I like to make? I would kind of like to make just off the spur of the moment, I would like to make a Berserk miniatures game. There we go. Yeah, that'll darken it up really good and still leave it nice and blue. Yeah, look at that compared to the color next to it. May have to go a little bit higher. May have to raise it up just a little bit more. That's why you always have two mixing brushes. So a little bit more. Let's put a dollop of the ice blue. Let's put it over here so we can draw from it until we get the right amount. You never know, I may go back through and just do straight ice blue on some things. But I would like to see something like a Berserk, not necessarily a war game like, say, Warhammer or 40K or Hail Caesar, any of those games that I actually like to play already. but more of a like an adventure, kind of like Space Hulk, or even the Dread Fleet, like I've got over on my shelf there. Something that's a one shot where it's got guts and a couple of the big demons, and you go to the end and you fight Griffith and a big like final battle royale. I think that would be kind of fun. There we go, that's thickened it up a little bit too, which usually makes it easier to put on the edges. So there we go, let's get rid of the old paint, out with the old, in with the slightly less old. That'd be kind of fun, like a D10 system, D20. You go through and Guts has to battle his own inner demons. I know he's known as Guts in the comics, and in the, it's still really bright, but it's much less bright. Than it had been. That's not a... We're going to find out how this works, how well this does. No, that's not going to... Trying to figure out my brush angles. I think I'm going to have to put some anticoagulant in here. Retarder, there we go, not the medical term. Oh, this is going to take forever. Luckily I don't have to do it on 50 models, I just do it on one. Yeah, we're going to have to put some retarder in there. But I think that would be interesting, but then again, I've always liked Guts, and I would love to have a miniature of him to paint. That would be fun, I think. Be challenging too. I mean, I saw a guy, I think he made a custom one, or they may have made one years ago. I think if I remember my YouTube browsings correctly. Oh boy, we may need more art harder than that. Oh, that's a lot of paint for some highlighting. Oh well. I mean, Gus is the archetype for the adolescent male power fantasy. He swings a sword that is literally 7 feet long and 2 feet wide of steel. Cuts through building pylons, fights demons, and he's what every 16-year-old boy wishes he was. You should see a theme running through all the things that I like, at least. There we go, that's running a lot better with that. That's looking a lot better too. Yeah, that's not looking bad. But I'm still way behind on watching videos. We took the boys down to a local river and walked along the side of the river today. Let them get in and wade, which they absolutely love that. I missed that, didn't I? Doop. Had a playground down there. The kids wore themselves out. They've already gone to sleep. Especially since the 2-year-old has quit napping, they go to sleep a lot easier. Tomorrow's Monday already, which for most people it's like, oh man, I gotta go back to work. But for me, it's Like, oh man, daycare's opening back up. Hot pants. And so the boys go and they play, and they actually enjoy going to school. They whine about it in the morning, but as soon as I turn the corner, they're playing with their buddies and having a good old time. Ooh, this edge highlighting is serious business. May have to bust out my zoomy goggles here in a minute. Luckily I only have about 80 or 90 of these armor plate edges to go. Also means I will have to be excessively careful as I do the other details. Of the model, the bone ridges that surround it. And I'll definitely be taking some R&R this week. I'll be out of town for 3 days. May post some videos, but I don't think I will because I will be at a hotel, and sometimes they'll give you, oh yeah, free Wi-Fi for $25.95 a day. But, yeah, what can you do? Hotels got to make money too. Everybody got to make money. Either that or live subsistence farming, and I don't recommend that as a way of life for most people. Huh. Looks pretty good. I'm not going to win a golden demon, but it really makes the plates stand out. I think I could have gone with just straight ice blue, but I didn't, and so not about to mix up more paint just because I regret my choice. Well, I mean, now would be the time, but I think once I get the whole model painted, I think straight ice blue on the edges would have been way too extreme, and this will be nice and subtle. I used to hate that when I played WoW. People would pronounce the B in subtle. When you'd be going on a raid, it's like, yeah, I'm a subtle mage. Or rogue. There's another pet peeve. Misspeaking. But, I never corrected them because it's just a game. Not worth that sort of drama. But yeah, okay, this is starting to look good. And as I work, I'm getting a little better at picking off the edges here. Yeah. Pat myself on the back. What's up? Good service in church today. The kids presented a musical, so about the prophet Elijah, which not really what I would have chosen for a story for kids, because it's a Old Testament. The Old Testament's pretty hardcore. But the other musical was pretty well done. And the important part is the kids sang and had a good time. And our choir director did pretty well with getting them. Very, very, whatchamacallit, Broadway-esque musical. My boys may sing in a year or two, if they want to. I'm not going to make them. Because nothing will snuff the fire of a kid's artistic ability than making them do something. Alrighty, well, you see what I'm going for. I think I'll turn the camera off. I may flip it back on here in a second once I get all the way done to show you how it turned out. So you don't have to sit here and watch me for 40 minutes to an hour while I paint. But anyway, yeah, there's the hand. That's pulling the edges out pretty good. Alright guys, have a good one. Alrighty, here's kind of the way he looks. I don't know how well that's going to pick up on the camera, but there you have it. Finish it all. Adios.